I'll start. Cam Sample had an injury the other day. He tore his Achilles, so he'll be out for the season. So that was unfortunate. Cam's been a huge part of our team, played a lot of different roles, been awesome in the locker room. We'll obviously support him during his recovery and plan on him being around. Surgery not yet determined when, where, who, but unfortunate for him and of course the team because he was a big part of it.
Zac, what has it been about Cam that has stood out to you guys as a staff so much? I know you guys really value his production.
Yeah, consistent player, consistent person. You know, he's a top-notch human being, affects everybody the right way, has always embraced his role, kind of been a whatever I can do to help the team win type of guy since we drafted him. You know, I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl, watching his Tulane tape. So excited to have him once we got him in the draft. He's been what we hoped, you know, played a lot of different roles for us and a lot of different defensive looks and played in some huge games for us and been a big part of what we've achieved as a team.
How do you see playing out kind of the backup defensive end group? Got 4 or 5 guys there. How do you see that impact?
Playing out, you know what I mean? It's you got guys that have been around like Joseph and you got Miles and some young guys competing for time right now. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and there's still plenty of training camp for guys to step up and take hold of some of those spots and roles and how much time and what role you're playing. And there's still a lot of opportunity there.
You said that you expect the starters to play this weekend. Do you expect Trey, Sam, and Trent to play?
I think there's, you know, the offense and the defense, I both expect both sides to play, but we'll look at what it looks like on both sides, you know, because obviously we're down a few more bodies on defense. And so I'll allow for some flexibility there as we get closer to the game to see how it all shakes out.
Will Trent practice today? What's kind of his timeline?
Trent will do individual today. Yeah, so we'll ease him back in. He's a veteran player. He's a big guy, obviously, so we would be mindful of how we get him back into training camp. But he's done everything. We've been on the same page, and he's done a great job. And today was kind of a day we'd set, you know, probably a week and a half ago to start to get him back into work. And so he'll do individual today. It's predominantly a special teams practice today. So you'll see more Darren and Ben working today, and guys that are in the O-line, D-line, some skill guys that are starters, kind of doing more individual stuff second half of practice.
Are you hoping to see him at all this preseason?
In the games, you know, we'll just take it one day at a time and see kind of where we're at as it talks about practice. I've got enough game tape to know what type of player he is. If he doesn't end up playing in a preseason game, that's not the end of the world for me. But again, it's too early to say all that stuff.
Back to special teams kickoff. How is that going for you guys? And it's a brand new way to do it.
It is, and I think it's a work in progress for everybody. There's certainly a feeling out stage of exactly how it's all going to look, and you know you got a chance to see a small taste of it in the Hall of Fame game the other night, and nothing unexpected. Just you got a chance to see it, you know, with where we're putting the guys as opposed to the XFL, and you know, they even put the 12th guy on the field a couple times there and had him run off after you held the ball. So you got a chance to look at a couple different things, and you know, it'll be exciting play to watch in the preseason.
What have you liked from, speaking of defensive end depth, rookie Cedric Johnson? What did you see out of him?
I think there's been some really positive flashes. And so now it's just a consistency thing of playing down in, down out against the run, against the pass, being able to rush. So the consistency, just you could have named any rookie, and it's just let's see the consistency. We know there's flashes because we drafted you. So let's just see, can we do it every day and avoid repeat mistakes? So I've been pleased with what I've seen, but now it's got to be a consistent thing every day.
Now that you are within a week of the first preseason game, how much does this week you eliminate a game week versus it's still straight up training?
Yeah, it's still training camp. Yeah, we're not there yet. We still have a lot of work to do we're really just getting into like football practice where we're sustaining long drives and feeling like we're in football shape, and now we're trying to simulate the games as best we can this week in practice, starting with yesterday, today's special teams. But Wednesday and Thursday will be good practices, and then we're ready to go on Saturday. So there's still a lot of work to be done, and in terms of shaping it like a game week, we're still several weeks away from that.
Are there things you've been excited to do with the offense, having Joe here in this week of practice, the first time in a while?
Yeah, I mean, we're into the next phase of the offense. You went through the install phase, and now you get a chance to everything's available, which can be overwhelming for young players because a game week is so much easier. You have a game plan that you're presenting to the players; they're getting it by Tuesday, and they can study that all week, and they know the formations and the play. That's that, and right now we have this, and so you can see a lot of the players we're pulling from everywhere, and they got to be able to respond and understand the concept. And our veteran players get it, and they're playing fast. And so with Joe, you're able to fine tune all this stuff we've been working on, and so again, his feedback is invaluable there on how to perfect the scheme that we're maybe toying with a little bit, and his feedback's been really good, and it's good to have him out there and repping it.
Assuming that Gro does play this week, Zach, what do you hope he gets out of the snaps he does get listed?
Yeah, I mean, we want to see efficiency on offense. That's certainly what we want to see, but it is more just about getting coaches and players off the field. There's fans around. It's just the 11 guys, you and the other 10 guys in the huddle communicating and going through it together to try to simulate a game environment. And so I think it's more the I don't know if intangible stuff is the right word, but it's more of that chemistry and being out there by yourself and having to work through it as opposed to how we orchestrate a practice.
Coach, football is football, but at this level it's different. What do you guys try to make these rookies aware of that they may not be prepared for?
It's a long season. That's something I preach quite a bit. It's not about what you done the last 2 days in a row. It's, again, what I keep mentioning, the consistency of it. How durable are you? How consistent can you be? And the quicker you can understand it, it's really hard. The quicker you can just not look at a picture on a playbook and do what the lines are telling you, but understand the full scope of offense and defense that allows you to play faster. Some guys take to that a little bit sooner. I try my best to kind of get these guys one-on-one where I can and explain a different perspective, because you're in an individual meeting room and the coach is having to talk to 6 to 15 guys, and so sometimes you just try to pull them aside and maybe have those one-on-one conversations where you can get to them in a different way, and so again, that's all part of training camp.
Are you in now in preseason game any plan rest for Burrow or not?
Yeah, I mean we still have pegged our days that we did well before training camp of where he does less than another day. You all might not notice it, but again, those are all parts of our plan with him going into training camp.
What did you like most about that play Friday to shed the deep ball from Burrow?
I don't know what day today is. So Friday.
It's like the rollout.
They were back to back.
Yeah, what field were we on?
You were close.
Oh, away from the Saints. Okay. It was a third down day. That was a fun day for me because you get a chance to. It's a really challenging day for the quarterbacks that I thought they did outstanding. It was third down, so you're repping 5 third downs back to back, which you would never do in a game. And it's against a defense we're kind of game planning for. We're aware of what they're doing, but we're not putting in plays to beat them. And so you got to deal with 5 high level problems back to back to back, and Joe, for example, nailed it really and did a great job and was able to attack. And okay, the one that you're probably thinking of, he's rolled to his right and hit shed down the field. So it was just good. He does a good job throwing on the move. He does a great job keeping the ball in bounds on go ball. A couple plays before that, he hit, I think, Charlie on a go ball where most quarterbacks, that ball would drift out of bounds. The way he kind of set late to throw the ball, and the ball would typically tail out of bounds, and he did a great job turning to keep the ball in. And I'm not properly giving that great context, but I was really impressed with how he kept the ball in bounds and allowed Charlie to go make a play. And so I thought he had a really good day on Friday, I guess it was.
Do you like it when rookies like Dejan yesterday in practice are vocal and they yell at other rookies?
You just got to be careful. It's a fine line of the consistency. You make a play, that's great. I love the energy, and I love guys that like football, and Dejan loves being out there and loves practicing football. And so what I've seen from him, I enjoy. There's a fine line there. You got to be careful.
I guess to my point is he was yelling at a teammate to say you got to be in position or whatever, not just yelling because he made a play. I guess
I'd rather over communication than lack of communication. So I don't know exactly the tone that you're talking about, but I want guys that communicate. And sometimes the clock is winding down and the ball's about to be snapped, and you have to find a way to communicate to somebody else that they need to be in a different position. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And so again, that's communication is a big part of what we do, and I like when guys communicate.
What's
You got guys like
What's the most favorite thing you've seen out of Chase Brown this camp so far?
Consistency. You've heard me say this word over and over because it's my favorite training camp word, but Chase has been very consistent, and that's what we're counting on from him. And he didn't get a ton of opportunity last year, and so now is the first time he's really getting a bunch of reps. And I like how consistent he's been and dependable he's been.
Is there a certain way to measure that for a running back consistency?
You just feel it, as a play caller. Your quarterback feels it. The play caller feels it. Getting in phase with the line in the run game, understanding who to protect in the pass game, understanding where to be when you don't have protection on a check down. I've really liked what I've seen. He's done the right things there, and so how do you measure it? There's not errors being made, and that's a positive thing. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. You guys got Tyson and Hall are coming off ACLs. Are they supposed to play games at all?
I think I can't give you that answer yet. I think both of them have their own plan. They've both been working into team drills. It's been encouraging for both to see whether playing them in the game is the right thing or not. We have a couple more days to sort through that, so I don't want to make a prediction on where that's going to fall. But I think both of them are feeling good, and so now we just have to work them in the right way into team drills.
Is it one thing you hear from players a lot at this point in training camp is it's going to be nice to line up against somebody other than your own, another colored jersey. For you as a coach, how welcome is it to get to, whether it's game plan or just see your guys go against another team?
It's good. It's again they've seen what we do out of certain looks. We've seen what they do, and so it's good when it's new to you and it's a different twist on how a defense or offense is going to operate. And so again, you got to play your rules true, and you got to follow your tried and true protection rules, because we're not going to game plan for them before we play. We'll be aware of what they do, but we're not going to spend a lot of time and energy game planning. And so it's good. Just watch your guys go compete, and there will be some errors that are made because of the excitement, and you kind of get that out of the way by practicing it against Chicago the first time. Then hopefully it's better when you play them in the game, and then hopefully it's better when you practice against Indy, and it's better when you play Indy. And so there will be a progression there that'll be fun to watch for us coaches.
Is DJ Turner making as many plays as it seems like from our vantage point on the sideline?
I think he's done a nice job in camp, and so again, he's competing out there for that job, and I've liked the energy he's come with, and that's been good for us to see.
Will all three guys punt in the preseason?
Not there yet. Yeah, not there yet. Can't answer that one for you.
Is it fair to say that Trey and Sam are still week to week?
Is he good? Was yesterday just
He is good. He'll be day to day, so we'll see where he's at tomorrow. Potentially back out there tomorrow. Maybe takes another day. So we'll just see. Just some tightness that we want to be careful about.
I think yesterday was practice 9. So is it fair to say that the plan with Jamar Chase is still day to day, or do you expect him to play at all?
No, I think it's good. He and I have been on the same page every step of the way, and so I'm excited about that.
Coach, many of your players, whether veterans or rookies, talk about how easy it is to connect with you and how you make it just a great conversation. How would you describe you in terms of how you interact with the players so successful?
Yeah, I'm just such a likable guy that they like being around me. No, I like what they have to say. It helps me do my job better when I have an understanding of players that have earned the right to give some feedback. And it's trust me, there's plenty of conversations where I tell them, no, we're not doing it that way, and here's why. But I just, again, you in my gut, it's I don't ever want the response to be no. I don't want that to be my first gut reaction. Like, let's think through. Maybe that is a much better way to do this that I just need to put some thought into. So I welcome feedback from our coaching staff. I welcome feedback from players that have earned the right to give that feedback. I ask for that input. I'm not that old, I'm not. So some of these guys are closer in age, and that's kind of a different generation maybe of coach. There's a lot of guys that are closer in age, and I had to come up coaching Matt Moore, who was 1 month younger than me in my first coaching job at Miami, as a quarterback coach. And Whitworth was he might be older than me when I was in LA. So I kind of came up in the NFL in an era where guys were my age or right around there, and so you kind of learn to build relationships that way. And now there's a bigger gap as I'm getting older, but I like to think that hasn't changed. Like I still feel that connection to the players and want to hear what they have to say.
As guys like Chase Brown or Yoshi Bosch get into bigger roles, how do you factor in like the special teams considerations roles they had last year?
Yeah, it changes. So that's dialogue with Darren on. He's always at what's the vision for this player? How do you see them progressing on offense? What's your role for them? And do we start to scale back? And so there's always dialogue there with different players as he tries to just watch and decipher what their role is on offense and how that's increasing, and then he makes his decisions, and that can evolve during training camp, that can evolve during the season. But that's a good question. I mean, those are conversations Darren and I have quite often.
You had a few months now around Sheldon. How is he fitting in? What are your first impressions of him as a Bengal?
He's a pro's pro. I really like the way that he goes about his business. Every conversation I've had with him is a pleasant one where you feel like, all right, this guy is part of us. This guy is he gets it. He belongs here. He's going to fit in the locker room really well. He's going to fit in the defense really well. And he's going to work. And so, I'm pleased that Sheldon Rankins is here.